The family vacation to Miami was supposed to be special. My father-in-law wanted to revisit the city where he and my mother-in-law had honeymooned decades ago. And despite my sister-in-law Ella's financial struggles, I generously offered to cover her expenses, hoping for a week of joyful family memories. But from day one, it was clear that Ella had other plans that didn't include me. It started small, almost unnoticeable. Every time we took a family photo, Ella found a way to edge me out. At first, I convinced myself it was unintentional. Then I saw her social media posts, countless family pictures where I was absent, as if I hadn't even been there. Whenever we went out to dinner, Ella seemed to arrange the seating so I was on the outskirts, barely able to engage with anyone else. Outings felt like they were tailored to exclude me. Even a boat ride I'd arranged had me sitting alone, separated from the rest of the family. Raw, my wife, tried to comfort me, suggesting maybe Ella was acting out of some old rivalry. But it felt targeted. I was, after all, the one funding her trip, and here I was, treated as an outsider. Still, I didn't want to stir up conflict, especially not in front of my in-laws, so I kept my frustrations in check. But by day 3, it was unbearable. The final straw came during a spa day I'd booked as a treat for everyone. Ella managed to schedule it so she, her husband Jake, and my in-laws enjoyed it together, while I was left alone. That was it. On the last night, I made a decision. After dinner, I gathered everyone and calmly announced that from this point on, I would only be covering expenses for Raw and myself. Ella and Jake would need to handle their own. Ella's face went pale. She hadn't expected a line in the sand. At checkout the next morning, I watched as the reality set in for her. She panicked, realizing how much she'd spent. The tension between her and Jake was undeniable as they argued about finances. My in-laws looked uncomfortable, and I could tell even Raw, who had been trying to keep the peace, finally understood the toll Ella's behavior had taken on me. When we returned home, the repercussions rippled through the family. Ella's relationship with Jake was strained, her financial carelessness now painfully exposed. My in-laws were disappointed, and even Raw stood by me, realizing that Ella's actions had crossed the line. I learned something valuable from that trip. Boundaries matter even with family. Generosity shouldn't be mistaken for weakness, and respect has to go both ways. Our family dynamic may have shifted, but it's for the better. Now, we're all a little clearer on where we stand, and I've made my peace with what happened. The trip, in the end, was a lesson in self-respect and a reminder that generosity deserves mutual respect, something Ella might now finally understand.